Joining me today is Fred from StencilTech, a man who is taking concrete from the grey and gritty to a work of art. So we're talking patterns, precision, motion-based measuring without the usual headaches that you get with Moasure here. So let's get into it. Fred, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and StencilTech?
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you very much for coming to the office and coming to see us here today. So basically, our company, StencilTech, we've been in the powder concrete industry for 30 plus years, originated in Australia, brought all the StencilTech products and all the machinery from Australia to the UK. I mean, we used to always travel back and forth for years from Australia to the UK. And every time we visited, we never used to see all the beautiful stencil driveways, which is so popular in Australia. There was none of it here in the UK. So we decided to, bring all the materials, all the manufacturing machinery here to the UK. And we started manufacturing here, never looked back really. And so from there, it's started booming and we got so busy with it. It's become so popular. Yeah, one of the best moves I think we ever made, for sure.
I've seen your guys' work. In fact, you make concrete look so good looking that I felt guilty just parking my car out there on top of it.
Well, that's right. Yeah, well, do you know what I said to my customers? Make sure when it's done, you leave a little foot wiping mat at the beginning of the driveway so that you can wipe your feet before you walk on it to keep it looking nice.
I did feel I had to do that, but I didn't even feel like my shoes were good enough to walk on what looked like hallowed ground.
Oh, thank you very much. It just took a lot of effort. We've been working on this new facility for probably a good 18 months, and there's still a few little things to be done, but it's getting there. And we've been trying to get ready for training courses. We're doing a lot of franchising now, so we're trying to get a beautiful facility to bring customers to show them how fantastic our products can be. And we're really pleased to start, using your product alongside what we do. It's really helped us out massively when it comes to securing work and also, going and actually showing a customer how professional we are. But as soon as we break out that piece of equipment, the customer's got confidence straight away. So I appreciate you, introducing us to the product, and you in particular showing us how to use it. Because when I first got it, I was always worried that it was going to be a little bit tricky to use. But you clarified it all. You showed me exactly how simple it was to use, and after that, we was away. Wow, so thank you very much.
We can talk a bit more about that in a minute, but I wanted to actually ask you, like laying down decorative concrete isn't just like pouring out the concrete as liquid gold as it is. It's not just like, it doesn't look plain. It looks like, I don't know, something Picasso or Rembrandt would do. Can I ask you, like, what was the spark? Like, why decorative concrete? What started it all for you to like start up StencilTech?
You know what? It's got a wow factor about it because, we start off with just your bulk standard, plain grey concrete. Yeah, when you say to somebody, oh, we install concrete driveways, the first thing that comes to mind is the old traditional tamped and brushed concrete. It's boring. People's not interested in it at all. But you know what? It actually comes to light even more so in recent years when we started our journey on social media. The product, the transformation you get with it after a few hours, you start off with this old ugly grey slab of concrete. We start using our stencils, our imprinted molds, our templates. As soon as you cast them into that concrete, and by the end of the day, you've turned boring, bog standard concrete into something that looks like the most expensive products on the market in natural stone, like, cobbles, granite sets, York stone, things that cost like thousands to do. Our product blows out the water price-wise, and it looks just as good. And you don't get weeds of sinking, but that transformation, which is near enough instant, just wows people. And since we started putting that on social media, we're getting millions of views from it. It's just got a wow factor about it that the end user just loves. They just love to sit and watch the videos on how it's done. So yeah, the spark of it, it was really when I saw it myself years ago, when we first started seeing the products in Australia on the ground, when my father first saw it many years ago, it just blew his mind. He's like, look at the versatility of this stuff. Maintenance free, looks lovely, used for the commercial market. But so we've taken basically a commercial product and brought it into the residential sector. So it just lasts so long. So we knew this was the product to start investing in and start bringing these products to the UK and start promoting it. And it's taken off like crazy.
I've been watching those videos. I get why people watch them and you get a lot of views because they look therapeutic. And It's not the same old run-of-the-mill driveways that you're doing. It
Yeah.
just looked like a work of art. And from those early days and those beginning days, like I'm just looking around to where you are now. I mean, look at this office space, for example. It's not something I'd expect from a concrete guy. Maybe I don't know what I was expecting, a high vis, a hard hat, and maybe even a flask of tea kind of a thing. But
Old container
yeah,
in the yard.
honestly, I didn't
Yeah.
expect to be broadcasting from the Death Star or James Bond villain lair kind of a thing. But actually, you've obviously invested in the company.
Yeah. We have.
What kind of kit do you use? Like, let's say you're doing a survey or
Yeah.
for a job site or planning or measuring or all that. What kind of kit are you guys using? You've alluded to earlier, but just wondering exactly what that is.
Well, in recent years, obviously been introduced to Moasure. This is the piece of equipment I take with me everywhere. And you know yourself, we go all over the world doing this stuff where we have to get accuracy. We have to make sure that the products we're ordering, it costs a lot of money to ship some of this material across the world in containers, wherever the case may be. So I need to make sure I'm getting just the right amount of stuff. So for me now, the Moasure device is what I take with me everywhere because I get the accuracy. I can get all the information on it, like levels. I can know how much volume of material I'm taking away. So I use this piece of equipment with every job that I go and see now. So as far as taking machinery or what devices or tools I use when I'm doing a survey, I just use the Moasure. I don't need anything else now, which is why it's such a fantastic piece of equipment.
You've talked about levels and in and outs. I've seen some of the job sites. I've been on some of your
Yeah.
job sites, tripping over the materials. I mean, no job site's plain sailing. The coast is never clear. You got materials in the way. You got machinery plant in the way. I've seen some of them like there's slopes, there's falls, there's twists, there's turns, there's ups and how the blazes do you measure something like that out without losing your mind, especially for a concrete pour because that
Yeah.
stuff's not cheap.
It's not cheap, but you know what? A lot of it used to come down to guesswork a little bit. We always used to order what we call a plus load of concrete because you can never get accurate. When you're using a tape measure, I mean, we do a lot of pull surrounds. We might do these surrounds that are, all different curves and shape. You can't measure that with a tape measure. You don't have any accuracy. So we always have to over order, get more material than we need, which again costs money, especially when we're doing a lot of work, in different parts of the country and different parts of the globe, like what we do. You can't have that. What's the term I'm using? Trying to use. Sorry. Well, basically, you just need them to have a lot more accuracy. So before Moasure, it was guesswork and over ordering. Now we don't have any of that. It's pinpoint accuracy.
It's fun using tape measures in the old school way. From what I remember historically, I mean, to be honest, I was more like playing Twister with it or using tapes that used to be as long as garden hoses and something like that. And then, but not just that, then I'm trying to write down all the measurements on what would be like soggy, coffee stained pieces of paper that were lost, the four winds if I'm out on a job site, dancing in between the raindrops in this kind of a country. How do you find it when you're using Moasure?
Well, to be honest with you, it's just simplified everything. It's just fast, it's quick. There's a project that I actually went to yesterday, and it's a building site. The guy's, been building his beautiful house for, I don't know, over the last 18 months. But since the summer's come, all the weeds, the thistles, everything is completely overgrown on this job site.
Exploded. It does it this time.
Crazy. It was ridiculous. The guy's trying to show me around his job site. You couldn't get through. It was like a jungle. So to try and measure that with a tape measure, have him hold one side, and I'm trying to work my way through the jungle to get to the other
It's
side.
like be Bear Grylls.
It's like Bear Grylls. It was impossible. So grab that little piece of kit, and there's just no faffing about. You just walk around the outside perimeter. I could do it on my own, which is nice as well, and it was just done in seconds. But what I loved about it the most, which we'll probably touch on this again in a minute anyway, but how I could then show that customer the outside perimeter, the exact measurements, the falls, the level. It wowed the customer. So when I got that piece of equipment out and showed him what it could do, it just gave him confidence. And that's what I put down for me taking that beautiful job yesterday, which was like 380 square meters, which in our industry is a decent sized job. And I would say probably that was a major factor in us looking professional for this customer to trust us with a job like that. So yeah.
Can you imagine trying to measure that job the old school? In fact, could you walk me through how you would have measured that historically?
To be honest with you, I'd have to.
And how long it would have taken you compared to using Moasure?
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I don't think you could have measured it. That's me being completely honest. I mean, I would have said to the guy, look, you need to tidy this job site up first before I can actually get any sort of accurate measurement. There's some applications, or sorry, some products we go to where it is such a mess, you can't measure accurately. So it's guesstimated. And what it can sometimes leave you open to as well, when you get a little bit further down the line with the customer, and it comes time for the final bill, and where you wasn't able to measure it that accurate in the beginning, all of a sudden the job turns out to be bigger than what you thought. It's then an argument with the customer because I don't want to be out of pocket. The customer doesn't want to pay more than what we've agreed. But if the measurements are more and it turns out to be 10% bigger than what was initially agreed, you can't swallow that as in on your pricing because things are expensive nowadays. So to be able to measure accurately and have that measurement so you know exactly where you stand from the get-go saves a big headache later on down the line with the customer for sure.
I found it interesting as you were like charging through like a gruffalo through the thistles and the jungle and the brambles and the briars and sidestepping whatever obstacles was in your way, was that you did it on your own.
That's
You
right.
so
Yeah.
you went lone wolf with Moasure. You didn't need anyone else like you would have historically.
100% right. On my own, didn't need no help at all. And again, I got it accurate as well, which was great.
Wow. So was that the moment, or maybe what was the moment or the job or the challenge that made you go, oh man, yeah, we really need this Moasure thing here?
Yeah. But do you know what? It's actually funny because it's probably the first project that you come down and visited us on, if you remember rightly, in St Ives here.
I remember it well.
Yeah, so that job there was quite a big area. I mean, it was about 150 odd square meters. It was within the residential sector. It's quite a big area. Now, you come there, it was just when the Moasure volume calculator was just coming out. It was like the new feature to the device. And you walked me around the job. You showed me how to take the initial measurements, work through the middle of the project, take those little datum points so we can then calculate the volume. So that device calculated the square meterage and then the total amount of concrete we would need in cubic meters. And we trusted it. We ordered what that machine told us we needed. We had the plus, though. It was a big area, so it was a load plus. And it was so accurate. I think we had maybe like half a wheelbarrow of concrete left over. So that worked it out well within the tolerances. Do you know what I mean? So we never want to be short or on the other side of that, we don't want to be like 2 cube over because you've got to send that back. Some of these companies will charge like £300 a cube to send that concrete back to the plant. But thanks to that little device, it was perfect. We didn't have to mess with any of that. So after that, I thought, you know what, this is accurate. This machine, this device works fantastic. So I'm going to be using it moving forward. So yeah.
Do you know, I remember that day as well. You told me that it saved you quite a bit of money because concrete, it's to air loads or to take it back.
Yeah.
It costs a pretty penny.
It does.
And like, how much do you think you saved on that project if you were doing it historically?
Well, as a rule of thumb, we usually like to order maybe like a cube more than what we need on an area that size. So we over order that a little bit. Now, if we was at cubic meter over, obviously we've got the cost of the cubic meter of concrete.
I think that was 200 per.
It works out about 200 quid a square meter, the mix that we have. So we've got that as a cost. And then again, with some companies will look after a little bit more. When we're working out, I feel with companies that we haven't used regular, they charge you for everything they can.
Yeah.
So like a company out of field would probably charge again like between £200 and £300 per cube to send it back. So it's like 500 quid that it has saved me on that one job alone. So
Yeah, you've nearly paid for the cost of a Moasure. So certainly within a job or two you have as well. The interesting thing about like showing you the volume feature that we had, you're right, it was just released. And I was just coming to terms with it as well. It had just arrived on my phone like a week or so before. So your job was like, was one of the first jobs that I'd measured using that feature.
yeah.
And how long did it take? Like, I know we were yabbering away as we walked around that. We had like live workers. It was a dynamic site. So we were just dancing around the wood Moasure. I think it took us a few minutes. I think the cameraman, like he perhaps got tired holding the camera, but we just waltzed around it, got the measurement, and immediately one walk, one pass through, one measurement.
Yeah.
We had the total area, as you say, the total perimeter, and just at the end of my fingertip, putting that slider left or right, we were able to work out, depending on the depth, what the cubic meter or cubic feet, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, man, if I can do this, like I'm a farmer boy, if I can do this, you'll be able to. Anybody can do this. It was that easy, that intuitive to do.
And that's what I like most about it. It's a simple device to use. I mean, I'm not very tech savvy. We were just talking about it today, weren't we? That I'd love to start doing these podcasts regularly and things like that, but I don't know how to work the technology.
Are you kidding me? Like it looks like a rocket launcher could come out of here. You know, take that.
Touch that bar.
Bro, was it going to open up the tank shark or something? And I'm saying the wrong thing. It's the last you'll ever see of me.
No, I said just be careful. But no, it's one of those things where you've got to use it to understand it. But as soon as this on my first job when I used it, I just had to get used to turning it on, number one, the double tap or the twist, linking it to the phone. But once you've done that and you've used it once, you're away. It's like riding a bike. You won't forget how to use it again.
Now that you've got Moasure in your toolkit, like, can I ask what's changed? Is it like faster quotes, slower quotes, fewer mistakes, more mistakes? Like, what's the kind of vibe with now that you have Moasure with you?
Yeah, I mean, like, number one, it does make life easier, definitely. But that isn't really my favorite part of using the tool. For me, my favorite part of it, which, across the board nowadays, I get a lot of people come on board trying to learn how to do our industry and different things. And their hardest thing to grasp is how to look professional to a customer. And for me, this is what takes your work, because if you can't take the work, you don't need a Moasure anyway, because you can't, you can't fund buying one. So for me, when I pull up to a job site and I get out, I've got my quoting bag, I've got my iPad, and I've got my Moasure, I just look professional. The customer feels confident. They know that I'm the man who they can trust to do a good job. I get the Moasure out, I go around, I take an accurate measurement so they know that you're not over measuring or under measuring to run short, but they know that they are getting what they pay for. So you look professional. I can then download a PDF with the full perimeter that I can upload to an invoice, I can upload to a quote. And when I show the customer that, it just gives them confidence. This is what I say to all the new people coming on board with me. You have to look the part to your customer. You have to be the man that your customer is going to trust to give this money to, because some of these projects are not just for a few £100. We're doing projects for 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 plus. So you have to look professional. You have to look trustworthy to a customer as the man who's going to be do a good job for them. And with that little device, you just look professional. And that's actually my favorite part of that device.
Wow. Have you got any stories where Moasure's saved your bacon?
Well, in particular, we've just got back from Antigua, and we're measuring a huge project over there. It's like between 2,000 and 5,000 square meters. This is a huge project. Now, obviously, again, professionalism with it. The client, which is a very high profile client, just loved how professional we were. We had that tool. They trusted that we knew what we was talking about, just from the fact that, we had all the kit. As soon as you show up with the right kit, they trust you straight away anyway. So basically, with that little project there, or that big project there, it was when I was ordering the stuff and planning out all the materials I'm going to use for it, my typical wastage would be like 10% wastage. When you've got a project between 2,000 and 5,000 square meters, 10% is a lot of money worth of material. So for me, that is where that job saved me. Now, we was on the pricing of that job, on an area like that, it's going to come out at a lot of money. Now, to be able to fine tune my pricing to be competitive, if I had to allow 10% wastage on that job, I'd have to make the bill 10% more expensive. So on that job where I was able to price it competitively, thanks to that device, it won me the project. So for that reason, I mean, that's getting me out of trouble really, because if I had traveled all the way to Antigua and didn't secure that job, I'd have been very upset. So using that bit of kit definitely helped me out a long way there for sure.
So like that trip sounded like mission critical, so to speak, because you had to get it right. There was no room for error.
100%.
Like, so you're telling me that you've measured it all on your own. So Moasure's saving you manpower.
Yep.
You're measuring it quickly. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's saving you time. Yep. It's obviously saving you energy as well, because you've already expended a lot of energy going to the job site in the first place. Yep. Are you telling me it's saving you money?
100%.
And the customer money?
It's saving me money and owning me money. That's what I like most about it. So for sure, you're 100% right.
And the fact that you can do it quickly, you've often heard the quote, like, time can kill the deal.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're spending that time flying halfway across the world, or is it all the way across the world?
Yeah. It's quite a way.
You don't want that to be a waste of time.
100% you don't. So for sure, I mean, it definitely saved me time, saved me money, and made me look so professional that the customer wanted to give me the job. So for sure.
Well, because are they also able to see what you can see when you're measuring? Because when you're walking along and you're just walking with this thing as it's measuring, but can they see like drawing it all out in real time? There's no waiting time, no rendering. So by the time you finish, like 5, 10 minutes later, right there in the palm of your hand on your phone,
Yeah,
on the device,
yeah,
you've got a 3D representation,
yeah.
a digital model of that whole space.
Well, on that project, there's a lot of money we was charging for that job, and I had to put together a little presentation for the customer.
Mm.
So we went out, they saw us taking the measurements. At the end of the day, it's actually me and my brother Michael that went over there to see this project, and we sat in their conference room. I got my laptop. I uploaded all the PDF files that come from the Moasure. I was able to walk them through not just the measurements, but I could talk to them about where the water was going to go, the falls, all the levels. I could talk about how much volume of material was going to have to come away from there. So I could give them so much information that it just filled them full of confidence.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's worth every penny this time.
That's really important because clients can often find it hard to visualize the land that you're actually quoting for. And that's one of the things I love about Moasure is that it's not just the area, the total area and the perimeter and all the elevations, but it's the total surface area, like every little dip and hump and bump. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can see when the heavens open and the rain falls, you can see where that water is flowing. It's all color coded as well. And not just that, but you can see it has a 2D and a 3D contour map that you can just with moving your slider left or right, punching in your numbers, you can get volume, cut and fill calculations on there.
100% right. I mean, a big part of our job, I mean, it's not just about, the visual side of things. For
Yeah.
patterned concrete, it's a very visual product. It looks amazing, but it's not easy to make it look good. But the easiest part of it is to get it looking right and get it looking beautiful. But the drainage aspect of things doesn't work out right. It can destroy a job. You have to then go back, excavate, reinstall different drainage in some of these areas to rectify it. So not only are we like a decorative concrete installation company, we're a water runoff drainage company as well. So yeah, we have to plan ahead with that. So that really helps us for that.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, so is Moasure just like, I don't know, like a pre-job flex, or is it something you pull out mid-job kind of a thing when the tub gets going and the stuff gets real?
Yeah. But you know what? A bit of both, really. I mean, look, with the nature of what once we've taken the measurements, we don't really have to go back and re-measure as such. But for me, it is a bit of a pre-job flex for sure. But then again, it makes you look professional, of course. But it does bring so much value to the table. So it's not just a flex. It actually does really help us on site for sure.
How about like, when you're laying out those stencils or trying to get those forms
Yeah,
just right?
yeah.
Does Moasure come into play there at all?
It does. Well, more in particular, what the Moser would have done beforehand would have told us where to indicate the falls. So before the jobs, as we're working through the job, shall we say, I will know at a certain point the ground's quite low, the water is heading to a certain area. So it'll help me to plan for where my inlet would be for a soak away, for linking into existing drainage, whatever the case may be. So for sure, that's probably more so where it's helped me moving forward after the initial measuring. It helps me to plan out the drainage aspect in quite a bit of detail, which is what I like about it.
And that's quite important. That's vital, even critical. If you don't get that right,
Yeah,
you're called back to that job to redo it all again. So you start as you need to go on. So
yeah.
measuring and planning it all out, doing a proper survey.
Well, you can imagine the customers paid thousands for a lovely new patio, and they got a big bird bath in the middle of them. And usually we charge extra for a bird bath, but they didn't want it.
Yeah, like you're all of a sudden you're a swimming pool constructionist now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If they didn't want that in the first place, it could be a bit of a problem.
it can be. Yeah. Um, like I've seen people like on job sites when they're measuring out a space that you've just described, and they've got their string lines out. And they got their tape and they're measuring all the different heights. And if the space is so vast, like Antigua, or even a small one like the one you mentioned down here, down the side, I mean, you've done jobs like that. That's taken you a day or so, and you're supposed to just be quoting at that stage.
Yeah, yeah.
What would you say to, someone in construction who's still using old school ways of measuring?
Well, I would probably say to that person, I mean, there's only so much accuracy you can get with the old fashioned methods. When you're working on larger areas, big projects, you need to up your game a little bit because mistakes cost a lot of money, over ordering costs a lot of money. And, those older methods were used back when materials were still relatively cheap. I'll be honest with you, we're still charging similar sort of prices for our systems to what we was charging 15 years ago. But things have got more expensive. So, you can't necessarily charge more money for what you do. So you've got to find ways of bringing your expenses down. So by having this piece of equipment, you can really fine tune your methods and get a more accurate measurement, a more accurate reading of volume, material to be taken away, material to come back in. So it just saves you a lot of money. So I recommend trying it, using it, and coming down on one of your trial days. I see you've been running recently. I think it's definitely eye opening when you come and see how it's used.
Yeah, they're good fun. I definitely recommend that because what's really good about those training days and actually going out on site to meet people like yourself or going to trade shows is that you meet guys in the industries from all walks of life, whether they're an excavator operator, whether they're in construction, an architect, or a designer, and they have Moasure. And it's just amazing because when the wizards back home designed this, it was initially just for the backyard. They didn't think it was going to revolutionize the world of measuring. But when you talk to these guys and how they're using it, one day it could be a backyard, the next they're measuring inside a cave or a medieval castle or like a driveway. Like I remember I went out to visit a guy that did a driveway in Las Vegas, at the foothill of the Spring Range Mountains.
Wow.
Not only was there like over a 200-foot elevation rise from the street level to the top where the house was, it was twisting, winding, and snaking.
Yeah.
And then not just the fact that he was worried about getting an accurate measurement for the concrete, he had dye to put in this thing as well, and the dye costs more than the concrete.
Yeah.
So if he was over ordering with the dye and the concrete, all of a sudden that was tens of thousands of dollars he was going to be out if he didn't get it right. If he under ordered, well, you know what happens if you under order dye and you got to go get it more, the blend doesn't work and it just looks wrong. So how is he going to do it? Well, this is what he did. Like, I don't know how you would have measured swerves and curves and elevations historically, but he just traced it all the way up.
Yeah.
And he was 1/3 of a cubic yard out at the end.
Was it really?
And so it saved him tens of thousands of dollars. He probably could have bought 50 Mosures or something.
Yeah, yeah. I tell you, it's not just that. I mean, you know what? If you run short on a project, and especially if you're working in hot climates like how it gets in Las Vegas,
Mm.
you get what's called a cold joint. And it's where you've run short on the concrete, you've called up the plant, say, can you hurry up and get us 1 cube of concrete? Can you get or half a cube of concrete? Bring us some out ASAP. And they're not prioritizing you for a cube of concrete. They've got orders for 7 or 8 plus loads of concrete.
Yeah.
And if they can't get it to you quick enough, that little spot where you just run short will have a lovely cold joint crack running all the way through it.
Yeah.
And it destroys the job. Yeah. So yeah, you've got to be able to measure with accuracy, and it's so important.
And that would be a shame. You've gone to all that effort, all that work, all that manpower, time, energy, and whatever, and you get to that last little bit and it just doesn't quite make it. When you could have and that's why I love meeting all you guys at these trade shows and training days and what have you, just to talk these things through and hear these stories. And quite often people who are looking for Moasure, they come across these problems and don't know that it even exists. And when they see it, they're like, man, why haven't I been doing it like all that time? And then you hear people that are using it in ways you never even imagined.
Yeah.
Like just listening to yourself and all these guys and the problems they're solving, you realize that it's more than about measuring. It's actually doing a good job and giving their time back as well.
Yeah, 100% right. I mean, I can remember first seeing the Moasure ads run, which, by the way, your guys' team who does all their ads, fantastic.
Yeah.
And I can
They're Steven Soderbergh and Spielberg's of their time. They're amazing. Yeah.
well,
They know what they're doing.
first saw it popping up on my Facebook feed, and I just kept thinking, what a handy piece of equipment. And that's when we first reached out to you guys, like, can we buy one? And we bought one, used it. And that's when we obviously started the process rolling between it, doing some collaborations. But yeah, I've been blown away by the machine, by the device.
These ads are made easier because people come up to us at these shows,
Yeah.
and honestly, the word they say, I probably can't say the first word, but it's something wow. Like you'll hear it so often, and they're blown away by it. and they're only too willing to tell us their story because it's changed their whole workflow. It's changed their life. It's given their time back. It's given them quality of life.
Yeah.
They can go and they can do more quotes during a day. They don't have to go home and try and read their chicken scratch writing on dog-eared piece of paper, burning them in oil, trying to do our quotes. It's done right there and then. So they're getting to see their kids and everything. They're like, these are the stories they're telling. So it's easier for us to make those
So do you know what?
those videos, those ads.
I see loads of people trying to start up these new businesses, new business ideas, whether it's products like mine, products like yours. And if you haven't got a product that's got a valid reason for people to want it in the beginning, it's not going to get off the ground running. I mean, as soon as I saw your product, I thought, yeah, that's a fantastic idea. That's going to try and use this piece of equipment. Same in our industry, when people see it straight away, they know it's a good product. So it's all about having the right product in the beginning because it sells itself, doesn't it? Yeah. If you're the reason Moasure is so successful, because it's a fantastic piece of equipment.
Yeah, no, thanks for saying that, Fred, because we would actually be mortified if people got this device and it didn't work out for them, because it's got to be the right tool for the right job. But we believe like time is, as you know, and you've said already, time is money, and this thing does save you both. So I think people should just give it a whirl, give it a try, see where it brings them in. You know, you can always return it if it doesn't work, but you know, it's good technology. I wanted to ask you, like, if people wanted to check out, you know, StencilTech and get inspired by your work, where would they actually need to go?
Well, do you know what? Obviously, we've got a fantastic website where you can go on there and, read stuff through our, bit more information about our company, see all the different finishes that we offer. But I'd probably say the best place to go and really get inspired by what we do is on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We've got all of our most recent projects on there where you can really see how we do what we do. So
And is that at StencilTech?
we've got StencilTech Mike on Instagram and StencilTech, StencilTech Concrete on Facebook, and again StencilTech Concrete on YouTube. So that's the best place to check us out for sure.
There you go. Well, Fred, massive thanks for doing this and sharing StencilTech's dusty beginnings to designer driveways even as well, and taking Moasure along for the ride. So I guess, you know, if you guys out there are still kicking about on a job site with a wheel and a prayer, I'd suggest you check out StencilTech and see how they're utilizing motion-based measuring technology like Moasure. And if you want to find out even more stories like Fred here at StencilTech, just go to Moasure.com and check out Moasure.